Five of Wands reversed. The reversed Five of Wands can indicate open conflict and competition. Usually this is in the career/work arena. Know that you don't have to, and should not, face this alone should problems arise at work. There are competent advisors at your disposal should things become difficult. Take one step at a time and think before you act or speak. General, as with the upright Five of Wands, you have a real need to believe in and trust yourself now. If something or someone doesn't pass the smell test to you now, trust your instincts. However, no matter what happens, be hesitant to escalate conflict or to take irrevocable steps. Don't be hasty, no matter how angry you get in coming weeks. Work. There may be disputes coming up at work if you are currently employed when this card appears. If so, think calmly and rationally and avoid arguments to the best of your ability. Make sure you have protected yourself as well as you can, in terms of tracking your actions, having a paper trail, having witnesses during contentious discussions, and so forth. If you are looking for work, don't be discouraged by the competition out there. You have your own unique talents to bring to the table. Think positively. Love. If you are currently in a committed love relationship when the reversed Five of Wands appears, what looks like conflict on the surface can actually be very beneficial to your relationship, provided both parties fight fair, as you will learn more about yourselves and each other, and clear the air. If you are looking for love or have your heart set on someone who doesn't seem to be moving forward with you, know that their reluctance has more to do with their issues than with you. If you really want this person, you will need to be patient. Finances. If you are having money difficulties now, this is a time to carefully question your old assumptions. You may have assumed there is nothing you can do to cut your expenses, or to bring in more money, or to get a higher return on your investments. Think again. Try to look at your situation as though it was that of a third party. What would you advise that they do? Health. The reversed Five of Wands can indicate that you are trying to deal with physical pain. If this were to be the case, you would already be feeling this pain before the reading is cast. If you are in pain, these are not signals to ignore or to let your healthcare practitioner ignore, even if there is no clear reason for the pain that has been found yet. Pain affects one's quality of life if it is not relieved. Insist that they take you seriously and meanwhile do what you can to ease the symptoms. A dietary change may help. Heat and massage are also often useful. Spirituality. Know that spiritual growth is not a competition. When the reversed Five of Wands appears, people may try to convince you that you need to grow a certain way, at a certain speed, and so forth. Know, too, that spiritual growth can involve dealing with and accepting some apparent contradictions. Try to become more comfortable with paradox. Tarot history. The history of the tarot is shrouded in mystery. Very little in the way of concrete information is known about its origin, although many things have been written about it. We will probably never know the truth, as fact and fiction seem to be irrevocably mixed nowadays. The tarot originated in northern Italy in the early 15th century, sometime between 1420 to 1440. Despite the fact that it is often attributed to originating from China, Egypt, India, or Morocco, to name just a few, there is absolutely no evidence that this is the case. Nor, as is often quoted, is there any evidence whatsoever that the tarot was brought to Europe by the Romanis. The name tarot is often attributed to being Egyptian, Hebrew, or Latin. This is not the case. The earliest names are all Italian in origin. The cards were originally called Carte de Triomphe. Around 1530 the word tarocchi began to be used to differentiate them from a new game of triumphs that was in vogue at the time. The etymology of this new word is unknown. The German variant was known as tarot and the French tarot. The symbolism for the tarot is drawn from the culture of medieval and Renaissance Europe. The tarot subjects are distinctive to European Christendom. The symbolism does not come from Egypt or any of the other exotic locales often mentioned. It is often stated that modern-day playing cards evolved from the tarot. This is not the case. Modern-day playing cards came to Europe courtesy of Islam. They were an adaptation of the Islamic Mamluk cards. They appeared quite suddenly in many different European cities between 1375 and 1378. These early cards had suits of cups, swords, coins, and polo sticks, and courts consisting of a king and two male underlings. The tarot adds the Fool, the trumps, and a set of queens to this system. Sometime before 1480, the French introduced cards with the now familiar suits of hearts, clubs, spades, and diamonds. The Joker is not original to either the early form of modern-day cards, or to the tarot, but instead originated in the USA around 1857 and was used as a wild card in poker as well as the highest trump in euchre. It is also often stated that the Catholic and Protestant churches outlawed the tarot and all who used it in an effort to stamp out so-called heretical teachings. This is not the case. The Inquisition documented what the Church considered as evidence of heresy in great detail. The tarot was not even mentioned. After the Reformation, less controversial images for the Pope and Papess were substituted by card makers as the Church had objected to the original images. It is often said that the tarot was not used as a divination tool prior to 1781. The tarot was used as early as the 16th century to compose poems describing personality characteristics. There is historical evidence that in one case at least these verses were presented as relating to the person's fate. In other words, divination. Divinatory meanings were assigned to the tarot in Bologna in the early 1700s, and this is the first unambiguous evidence of tarot divination. Ordinary playing cards were connected with divination as early as 1487. It is not unreasonable to think that the tarot was also. The tarot has often been attributed with being a pillar of Western esoterica occultism. This is certainly not the case. The first occult writers to discuss the tarot were Court de Gabellin and the Comte de Melot in 1781. The tarot was not mentioned in any occult work for the first 350 years of its existence. The terms Major Arcana, Minor Arcana, High Priestess, and Hierophant are anachronistic when referring to the older tarot decks. The historically appropriate terms are the trumps and the fool, the suit cards, Papess or Popess, and Pope. Likewise, pentacles and wands are relatively recent substitutions for the traditional suit names of coins and staves or batons. The original Italian titles of the cards were in some cases different from the later French titles that have become familiar to us through the Tarot de Marseille and its descendants. Also, the ordering of the trumps varied considerably in Italy where the cards originated. It is not known which ordering is the earliest one. Even the number of cards in the deck varied a great deal. so care should be used in making statements about the original meaning of the cards based on the familiar titles and ordering. Many believe that the Waite-Smith Tarot is the original, standard, or most authentic tarot deck in existence. This is absolutely untrue. The Waite-Smith/Rider-Waite deck was created in 1909, not even 100 years ago, making it a relative newcomer in the almost 600-year history of the tarot. There is actually no definitive version of the tarot.